3 técnicas que pueden salvarte la vida en un infarto. Mi paciente lo hizo y sobrevivió. Consider a moment of profound vulnerability and extreme danger. What would you do if, right at this instant, you felt an overwhelming, crushing pain in your chest and you were completely alone at home? There's no one else nearby to help. Your telephone, your lifeline to the outside world, is in another room, just out of reach. You understand, perhaps instinctively, that you have a window of only 8 to 10 minutes before your heart could suffer irreversible damage. Damage that could forever alter your quality of life, or worse, end it. This isn't a hypothetical scenario for a select few. It's a stark reality for many. A staggering 65% of individuals who tragically succumb to a heart attack never even make it to the hospital. And the vast majority of these preventable deaths don't occur because there was no medical solution available, no cure in sight. They occur simply because the affected person, or those around them, didn't know the critical steps to take in those crucial first minutes, the very moments that define the difference between life and death. In the following paragraphs, I will meticulously detail 3 specific techniques, insights garnered from decades of clinical practice and validated by medical science, that we, as doctors, know can save lives. These are not complex surgical procedures. They are simple, actionable steps that anyone, especially those over 60, should commit to memory. These techniques have not only been proven effective in theory, but have genuinely saved real lives, sometimes in the most isolated and challenging circumstances where no one else was present to assist. Before we delve into these life-saving strategies, it is absolutely vital that you grasp a fundamental truth. The invaluable information I am about to share with you today will not be found in the standard brochures handed out by your family doctor. It's not the condensed 5-minute explanation you might receive during a rushed consultation. This is the comprehensive, deeply personal guidance I would impart to my own father if I had to prepare him for the gravest possible scenario, for the ultimate worst case. So I urge you to stay with me, to absorb every detail, because what you are about to learn today could quite literally be the defining factor between living a full life and facing an untimely demise. My name is Alejandro Gomez, and I have dedicated over 20 years to the demanding field of clinical medicine. My career has taken me through the chaotic, high-stakes environment of emergency rooms, into the intense calm of coronary care units, and regrettably, it has also involved countless difficult conversations with families who arrived at the hospital too late. They arrived too late not because the heart attack itself was an unavoidable fate, but because the individual experiencing it lacked the critical knowledge of how to act in those initial moments, or even worse, acted incorrectly, exacerbating their condition. This deeply ingrained issue is precisely what I am driven to change with you today. Allow me to share a story that profoundly impacted me at the very beginning of my medical journey. A story that etched itself into my memory and continues to shape my approach to patient care. I recall a patient whom I will refer to as Manuel. He was 68 years old, a retired man who led an active life, enjoying his daily walks, meticulously caring for his diet, and attending his regular medical checkups with diligent consistency. Manuel was, by all accounts, doing everything right. He had no significant history of cardiovascular issues, presenting as a picture of health for his age. One Tuesday morning, his wife left the house to do some grocery shopping, leaving Don Manuel alone. About half an hour later, he began to experience an unsettling pressure, a strange sensation in the very center of his chest. He, like many others might, dismissed it as mere indigestion or heartburn. Seeking relief, he lay down on the sofa, hoping that rest would alleviate the discomfort. When his wife returned home an hour and a half later, the sight that greeted her was harrowing. Don Manuel was unconscious. What could have been a heart attack with a complete and swift recovery, allowing him to return to his active life, instead resulted in permanent cardiac damage. He survived, yes, but his quality of life was irrevocably diminished. The active, independent man was gone, replaced by someone whose every physical exertion was now a stark reminder of his heart's vulnerability. What went wrong in Don Manuel's case? It wasn't his heart that primarily failed him in that critical hour. What truly failed was the absence of crucial knowledge. Don Manuel simply did not know what to do, and that lack of awareness cost him a vital part of his heart forever. And here's the somber reality. Don Manuel's case is not an isolated incident. It is, unfortunately, the tragic norm across the globe. According to the World Health Organization, cardiovascular diseases claim the lives of nearly 18 million people worldwide each year. Myocardial infarctions, or heart attacks, alone are responsible for approximately 9 million of those deaths. The statistic that personally impacts me most profoundly as a physician, the one that underscores the urgency of this message, is that more than half of these individuals die before they ever reach a hospital. Compounding this tragedy is the average time it takes for a person to call emergency services from the onset of symptoms. Global studies consistently show this delay to be between 2 and 4 hours. 2 to 4 hours, when in the context of a heart attack, every single minute, every second, is quite literally a matter of life and death, a determinant of how much heart muscle will be preserved or lost forever. We cardiologists have a powerful, succinct phrase that encapsulates this grim reality: time is muscle. Each passing minute during a heart attack sees the irreversible death of precious heart cells, cells that, once lost, can never be recovered. But today, we are going to disrupt this devastating cycle. We are going to empower you with the essential knowledge that will enable you to act swiftly and correctly, even if you find yourself utterly alone. To truly understand what you must do when confronted with a heart attack, it is imperative that you first grasp the intricate biological processes unfolding within your own body. Because when you comprehend the underlying mechanism, every subsequent instruction, every technique will fall into place and make perfect sense. Allow me to use an analogy that I frequently employ with my patients, one that, once heard, is rarely forgotten. Imagine your heart as a bustling, vibrant metropolis, an enormous city teeming with millions of tireless workers. These workers are the cells of your cardiac muscle, and they labor relentlessly, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, without a single moment of rest. For this vital city to function, for its workers to perform their life-sustaining tasks, it requires a constant, uninterrupted supply of essential provisions: oxygen and nutrients. These critical supplies are delivered throughout the city via a sophisticated network of special highways known as the coronary arteries. Now, picture what transpires when one of these crucial highways becomes obstructed. Over the course of many years, an insidious substance known as atherosclerotic plaque gradually accumulates on the inner walls of these arteries. Envision it as the relentless buildup of rust and debris inside an old, neglected water pipe. This plaque is a complex concoction, a mixture of a bit of cholesterol, some inflammatory cells, calcium deposits, all coalescing to form a hardened crust along the arterial wall. For an extended period, this plaque can remain relatively stable, nestled silently within the artery, causing no discernible problems, no outward signs of its presence. However, there comes a critical juncture when something destabilizes it. This trigger could be a sudden, sharp spike in blood pressure, a moment of intense emotional stress, or an abrupt, strenuous physical effort. When such a destabilizing event occurs, that seemingly stable plaque ruptures, cracks open. And this, my friend, is where the drama, the true emergency, begins. Upon the rupture of the plaque, your body's sophisticated defense system interprets this breakage as a wound, an injury that demands immediate attention. And it responds precisely as it always does to any wound. it dispatches platelets to seal it. Platelets are like your blood's emergency construction crew, microscopic first responders that rapidly converge at the site of the rupture, forming a clot. The dire problem, however, is that this clot, instead of merely repairing a surface, grows to completely block the artery. At that precise moment, every single part of the heart muscle that was being supplied by that now occluded artery immediately ceases to receive oxygen. The millions of tireless workers in that specific zone of your heart city are abruptly cut off from their vital supplies. And here lies a piece of critical information that very few people truly grasp. The cells of your cardiac muscle begin to die in a matter of minutes, not hours, but mere minutes. Within just 20 minutes of oxygen deprivation, the first cardiac cells become irretrievably damaged beyond saving. After 40 minutes, the affected area within the heart starts to expand significantly, claiming more and more precious muscle. And if there is no medical intervention within approximately 6 hours, a substantial portion of that tissue can undergo permanent necrosis, meaning it dies completely. That lost tissue, tragically, does not come back. Unlike some other organs in your body, the heart does not possess the miraculous capacity to regenerate its muscle cells. What dies, dies forever. Now, with this understanding, you can truly comprehend why, when you feel the ominous symptoms of a heart attack, every single second is quite literally a measure of heart muscle that you either lose permanently or manage to preserve. Yet, there is genuinely good news, and I want you to etch this into your mind. Today, if swift action is taken, highly skilled medical teams can intervene, open that blocked artery, meticulously remove the clot, and restore blood flow, often within 90 minutes of your arrival at the hospital. This sophisticated procedure is known as primary angioplasty, and it possesses the remarkable ability to practically restore your heart to its healthy, functional state. But for this incredible intervention to occur, you first have to arrive at the hospital. And to successfully reach that point, you need to know with absolute clarity precisely what to do in those crucial, terrifying first minutes when you are alone. Before I unveil these 3 life-saving techniques, I have a small but significant request. If you find this content useful, and I am confident that you will, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel right now. Simply click the red button located below. I ask this for a very straightforward and important reason: to ensure you never miss out on any tailor-made health advice that could genuinely benefit you. Every single week, I publish content just like this, specifically designed for individuals over the age of 60, packed with rigorous medical information, explained in a clear, understandable manner. And while you're there, please let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Type a 1 if you are finding this helpful and engaging, or a 0 if you believe there's something I could improve upon. That's all I need, a simple number. Your feedback is immensely valuable and helps me continue creating high-quality, relevant content for you. Now, let's proceed to the 3 techniques that could, without exaggeration, save your life. Technique 1, the 60-second emergency protocol. This first technique is paramount, superseding all others in its immediate impact and importance. I refer to it as the 60-second emergency protocol. It isn't overly complicated, but it demands adherence to a very specific order of actions. This precise sequence, when followed diligently, can be the critical distinction between surviving a heart attack and succumbing to it. Step 1. Recognize the symptoms and under no circumstances ignore them. This is, regrettably, the most frequent and the most deadly mistake people make. The symptoms of a heart attack are not always the dramatic, movie-like portrayals you might see on screen. They don't always manifest as a sudden, crushing pain that immediately fells you to the ground. Often, particularly in individuals over 60, and even more so in women, the symptoms can be far more subtle, insidious, and easily misinterpreted. So what exactly are these symptoms you must learn to recognize? Pressure, or a sensation of heaviness in the center of the chest. This is frequently described not as an acute, sharp pain, but rather as an uncomfortable, constricting pressure. Many patients vividly recount it as feeling like someone is squeezing my chest with their hand, or I have a heavy slab resting on my chest. This sensation can persist for more than 20 minutes, growing in intensity or simply refusing to abate, radiating pain. While the left arm is the most commonly recognized area for pain radiation, the discomfort can also spread to other areas. It might extend into your jaw, up into your neck, across your back, or even down your right arm. Don Manuel, the patient I spoke of earlier, described a dull, aching pain in his jaw just before he lost consciousness, a subtle but critical warning sign he unknowingly missed. Sudden cold sweating without apparent reason. If you suddenly find yourself breaking out in a cold sweat without having exerted yourself or being in a hot environment, this is a profound alarm signal. Your body sweats coldly when your autonomic nervous system activates in response to cardiac distress. Consider it a red flag, an urgent indicator that something is terribly wrong internally. Nausea or a sensation of dizziness. Many patients, especially women, experience nausea as a primary symptom, sometimes entirely without chest pain. This leads to a dangerous misinterpretation, as they attribute it to indigestion or a stomach upset. This is a potentially fatal error, a pervasive feeling that something is very wrong. While this may sound imprecise, we cardiologists recognize what patients describe as vital anguish, an inexplicable, deep-seated sense of impending doom or dread that the body itself generates in response to a life-threatening event. If you experience this unsettling feeling, do not, under any circumstances, ignore it. Your body is trying to tell you something critical. Now, I want you to commit this next piece of information to your memory forever. If you are over 60 years old and you have any cardiovascular risk factors such as hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, or a history of smoking, and you experience any combination of these symptoms for more than 5 minutes, you must proceed as if it is a heart attack until definitively proven otherwise by medical professionals. Do not try to convince yourself that it's merely a muscle strain or a bout of heartburn or just stress. In medicine, we operate by a fundamental principle. When in doubt, always act as if it is the worst possible scenario. Because if it truly is the worst and you fail to act, there is no turning back. The consequences are irreversible. Step 2. Immediately call 112 or your country's emergency number. This is, without a doubt, the single most critical step, and I say this with every fiber of my being. No technique I teach you today, no self-intervention, can ever replace or substitute the immediate urgent call to emergency services. The techniques that follow are complementary. They serve as crucial time bridges, vital strategies to employ while you await professional help, but the phone call is always the first action. Dial 112 or your local equivalent. If you can manage to do so while moving towards your phone, do it now. As soon as a responder answers, articulate these exact words. I believe I am suffering a heart attack. I am alone. My address is, state your full address, including apartment or floor number, if applicable. The emergency operator is extensively trained to guide you through this terrifying situation. Do not hang up. Keep them on the line with you. They can provide real-time instructions and invaluable support as the ambulance races towards you. Furthermore, if you were to lose consciousness, they would know precisely where to find you, saving critical moments. Here is a practical, yet seldom known detail that could genuinely save your life. Make sure to unlock the door to your home before the emergency services arrive. This might sound like an obvious point, but in reality, many emergency teams arrive at a locked door, only to find the patient unconscious inside. The precious time lost by paramedics and firefighters attempting to force entry into your home can be absolutely decisive. So, as soon as you have made that vital call to 112, make your way to your front door, unlock it, or at the very least unlatch the deadbolt, and then proceed to the next step. Step 3. Adopt the position that reduces cardiac load. Once you've successfully called 112 and ensured your door is unlocked, there is a specific body position you should adopt, one that is firmly rooted in clear physiological principles. Do not lie flat on your back on the floor. I repeat, do not lie flat on your back. There's a widespread myth and understandable instinct that tells us, I feel unwell, I should lie down. However, in the critical context of a heart attack, lying flat on your back can actually increase the workload on your already struggling heart due to hemodynamic reasons. When you lie down completely flat, the venous return of blood to your heart increases significantly, meaning a greater volume of blood rushes back, A heart that is already compromised and suffering has to work much harder to pump and manage this increased volume. The correct and medically sound position is called the modified Fowler's position, and it is remarkably simple to achieve. Sit on the floor or on a firm, stable chair. If you are on the floor, lean your back against a wall for support. Bend your knees, and if possible, elevate your legs slightly by resting them on something stable. Let your arms rest comfortably at your sides. This position effectively reduces what we call cardiac preload, the amount of blood that the heart has to pump with each beat. It also allows you to breathe with greater ease and less effort. Think of it this way: if your heart is a pump that is failing, do you overload it with more work, or do you help it work as minimally as possible? While the repair crew, the ambulance, is en route, the answer is obvious: help it work as minimally as possible. Remain in this position. Consciously try to maintain your calm. Avoid any strenuous efforts. Do not attempt to walk to the hospital. Do not call 10 different people on your phone. Conserve every ounce of energy for your heart. Technique 2. Aspirin, the silent hero. The second technique involves one of the most extensively studied and unequivocally effective pharmacological interventions available for the pre-hospital management of acute myocardial infarction. I am, of course, referring to aspirin, and I know precisely what many of you might be thinking. Dr. Aspirin, that common everyday medication. Yes, precisely that one. But please allow me to meticulously explain why and how it functions, because once you truly grasp its mechanism, you will never again underestimate the profound, life-saving potential contained within a single aspirin tablet. Recall what I explained earlier about the fundamental mechanism of a heart attack. The primary problem is the formation of a blood clot composed primarily of platelets that completely blocks a coronary artery. Platelets, as we discussed, are those tiny blood cells that rush to accumulate and repair the rupture of the atherosclerotic plaque. Aspirin, whose active ingredient is acetylsalicylic acid, possesses an extraordinary property. It irreversibly blocks the activation of these platelets. It achieves this by inhibiting an enzyme called cyclooxygenase 1, COX1, which is absolutely fundamental for platelets to aggregate or stick together and form a clot. To put it in simpler, more direct terms, aspirin effectively tells your platelets, stop accumulating, deactivate the mechanism that is actively building the clot that is currently starving and killing your heart muscle. The clinical studies supporting the use of aspirin in this context are not merely compelling, they are overwhelmingly conclusive. The ISIS-2 study, for instance, stands as one of the largest and most pivotal trials ever conducted on heart attacks. It unequivocally demonstrated that the early administration of aspirin reduced mortality from heart attacks by approximately 23%. Think about that for a moment. Nearly 1 in 4 patients who would otherwise have tragically died survived, thanks to a single timely administered aspirin tablet, a 23% reduction in mortality, achieved with a medication that costs mere pennies. However, it is crucial to administer aspirin correctly, because if taken improperly, a significant portion of its life-saving effect can be lost. So, how do you take it correctly in an emergency? The recommended dose in the acute setting of a suspected heart attack is 300 mg. A standard 500 mg aspirin is generally too much, so you might use half of one if that's all you have. A low-dose baby aspirin of 100 mg might be insufficient. Ideally, you should have a 300 mg or 325 mg aspirin specifically designated for this emergency in your home. And here is the absolutely fundamental detail that makes all the difference. You must chew it. Do not swallow it whole. You must thoroughly chew it. Why? Because when you chew the aspirin, it disintegrates rapidly in your mouth, allowing for partial absorption through the sublingual mucosa, the tissue under your tongue, and, crucially, much faster entry into your bloodstream compared to if you swallow it whole and it has to navigate its way through your stomach. We are talking about a difference of minutes in the drug's bioavailability, and as you now understand, every minute counts enormously. So chew it thoroughly as if it were a cracker and then swallow. It is that simple and that vital. Now, for the extremely important warnings, because this is medicine, and in medicine, nuances save lives. Who should not take aspirin? Firstly, individuals with a known allergy to aspirin or to other non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, NSAIDs. If you have ever experienced an allergic reaction to aspirin, do not take it. Secondly, people with an active peptic ulcer or active gastrointestinal bleeding. Aspirin is an antiplatelet agent and can worsen existing bleeding, potentially leading to severe complications. Thirdly, individuals who are already taking anticoagulants such as warfarin, known by brand names like Sintram or acinacumarol, or newer oral anticoagulants like apixaban or rivaroxaban. In these cases, adding aspirin without specific medical indication can significantly elevate the risk of a dangerous hemorrhage. For these reasons, and this is a piece of advice I consistently give in my consultations, have a conversation with your doctor during a routine checkup about whether you should keep aspirin at home specifically for a cardiac emergency. Let your doctor be the one to provide you with this personalized recommendation, taking into account your unique medical history and risk profile. This should be a decision made calmly, deliberately, and with full knowledge of your health. However, if you are a person without these contraindications, no allergies, not on anticoagulants, and you experience the symptoms of a heart attack, having that aspirin at home, chewing it, will buy you invaluable time while you await the arrival of the emergency services. There's something else I feel compelled to mention here because I frequently encounter it on social media and it genuinely concerns me. There are videos and articles circulating that recommend taking other analgesics, such as ibuprofen or diclofenac, instead of aspirin during a suspected heart attack. This information is profoundly incorrect and potentially dangerous. Ibuprofen, in fact, can interfere with aspirin's crucial antiplatelet effect, and some studies have even linked it to worse outcomes in heart attack patients. Neither ibuprofen nor paracetamol nor any other general analgesic should be taken in this specific context. In the setting of a heart attack, the only option with robust, undeniable scientific evidence is aspirin. Remember this vital fact and share it with your family and loved ones. Technique 3, cardiac load control breathing, the 4-7-8 method. The third technique is perhaps the most widely misunderstood and also generates the most confusion, primarily because there's a technique that has been circulating online for years, propagated through WhatsApp chains and viral videos, which is often sensationally presented as the technique doctors don't want you to know. I am referring to the so-called cough CPR. I intend to speak to you about this with absolute honesty and transparency because my professional duty is not to tell you what you want to hear, but to convey the unvarnished truth based on medical science. The theory behind cough CPR suggests that if you feel you are about to lose consciousness during a heart attack, you should cough repeatedly and vigorously. The underlying idea is that this forceful coughing generates a brief contraction of the chest cavity, which in turn momentarily increases intrathoracic pressure. This, proponents claim, can help maintain a minimal flow of blood to the brain for a few precious seconds. This concept actually originated from an article published in 1976, which discussed maneuvers applied in highly specific circumstances, with patients who were monitorized in hospital coronary care units under direct medical supervision in the immediate seconds following the onset of a severe arrhythmia, an absolutely controlled and highly specific environment. What transpired afterwards is a frequent occurrence on the internet. That specific piece of data was extrapolated, oversimplified, and went viral, reaching millions of people as if it were a universal, self-applicable technique to save your life at home. The reality, however, is significantly different and far more nuanced. The American Heart Association, the European Society of Cardiology, and the Red Cross are all unequivocally unanimous in their stance. Cough CPR is not recommended as a first aid technique for the general public during a heart attack. There are several weighty medical reasons for this strong recommendation. First, a myocardial infarction, heart attack, and cardiac arrest are not the same thing. A heart attack is fundamentally an arterial obstruction, where blood flow to a part of the heart muscle is blocked. Cardiac arrest, on the other hand, is when the heart ceases to beat in a coordinated, effective manner, leading to a complete cessation of circulation. Coughing might have some theoretical, highly limited role in imminent cardiac arrest, but it does not address the underlying issue of an arterial blockage during a heart attack itself. Second, coughing vigorously when your heart is already suffering can actually increase the oxygen demand of the cardiac muscle and worsen the overall situation. Your heart needs to conserve energy, not expend it. Third, if you are already unwell enough to be on the verge of losing consciousness, you are likely not going to be able to cough effectively or forcefully enough to generate any meaningful physiological benefit. And the fourth reason, perhaps the most critical one, is this. If you are contemplating coughing instead of immediately calling 112, you are squandering the most valuable time you have. Every second spent trying a debunked technique is a second lost from getting professional help that can actually resolve the problem. So cough CPR is emphatically not technique number 3. The genuine technique number 3 is something entirely different, and it is equally backed by sound physiological principles. It is called cardiac load control breathing. Allow me to explain precisely why it works. When you suffer a heart attack, panic is an absolutely natural and understandable response. Your brain detects a profound threat, triggering the activation of your sympathetic nervous system, the infamous fight-or-flight system. This initiates a cascade of hormonal releases, flooding your body with adrenaline and noradrenaline. These hormones, while useful in other emergency situations, do precisely the opposite of what your compromised heart needs at that moment. They increase your heart rate, elevate your blood pressure, and significantly augment the oxygen demand of your heart. All of this means that when panic takes hold, your already injured and struggling heart is forced to work even harder. It's akin to demanding maximum acceleration from a car with a severely damaged engine. Controlled breathing, conversely, activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the opposing system, the one associated with rest and calm. It does this through what is known as the vagal reflex. Slow, deep, rhythmic breathing can effectively reduce your heart rate, gently lower your blood pressure, and critically decrease the oxygen demand of your cardiac muscle. It is not a cure, it is not magic, but in those critical minutes while you are awaiting the ambulance, it can genuinely be the difference between a heart that is struggling less and one that is exhausting itself more rapidly. So, how is this done? It's remarkably simple and is often referred to as the 4-7-8 technique. While in the modified Fowler's position I previously described, seated, back supported, knees bent, gently close your mouth. Inhale slowly and smoothly through your nose for a count of 4 seconds. Do not force the breath. Let it be gentle, as if you are delicately smelling a flower. Then, hold your breath for a count of 7 seconds, calmly, without tensing any muscles. Finally, exhale slowly and completely through your mouth for a count of 8 seconds, making a soft whooshing sound, as if you are gently blowing out a candle that is a meter away, very, very slowly. Repeat this cycle of 4-7-8 over and over again. As you engage in this controlled breathing, mentally repeat a calming affirmation to yourself. I have called 112. They are on their way. I just need to stay calm until they arrive. This is not empty auto-suggestion. It is firmly rooted in neuroscientific principles. Our internal language profoundly modulates the activity of our nervous system. Studies on pain management and acute stress consistently demonstrate that individuals who maintain a reassuring internal dialogue experience less severe physiological responses to distress. I must share another patient story with you, one that perfectly illustrates the power of this knowledge. Her name was Doña Consuelo, a remarkable woman of 72 years. She had lived alone for 8 years since the passing of her husband. A retired teacher, she was extraordinarily lucid, intelligent, and prepared. She had attended one of my public talks on cardiovascular health, meticulously taking notes. She had the emergency number 112 programmed into the first speed dial slot on her phone. One Wednesday afternoon, she suddenly felt that familiar, alarming pressure in her chest. She immediately recognized the symptoms. Without hesitation, she called 112 in less than 2 minutes. She then went to her front door, unlocked it, and returned to sit in the armchair in her living room, calmly waiting, breathing slowly and deliberately. When the paramedics arrived 9 minutes later, Doña Consuelo was fully conscious, oriented, and her pulse was relatively stable. She was promptly taken to the hospital, underwent an angioplasty, and within 72 hours, she was calling me to recount her experience. She told me something I will never ever forget. "Doctor, the only thing that kept me calm was knowing exactly what I had to do. Fear did not win because I had a plan." That, my friends, is the transformative power of knowledge. It doesn't eliminate the risk entirely, but it grants you a fighting chance, an opportunity you would otherwise not have. Before I conclude, I want to address the most common and dangerous mistakes people make during a heart attack, because sometimes knowing what not to do is just as critically important as knowing what to do. Error number 1. Driving yourself to the hospital. Never, under any circumstances. If you are alone and believe you are having a heart attack, do not get into your car and attempt to drive. Firstly, the physical and mental exertion of driving dramatically increases the load on your heart, which is the absolute last thing it needs. Secondly, and perhaps even more catastrophically, if you lose consciousness while at the wheel, the outcome could be devastating not only for you, but for innocent others. Call 112 and wait for the ambulance. An ambulance arrives equipped with sophisticated monitoring devices, life-saving defibrillators, and highly trained personnel capable of initiating immediate treatment. A private car offers none of these vital resources. Error number 2, waiting to see if it improves. I have stressed this point already, but I will repeat it because this mistake tragically kills countless people. If your symptoms persist for more than 5 minutes and are consistent with the descriptions I have provided, do not wait. Do not try to convince yourself that it will simply pass on its own. Every single minute of waiting is precious heart muscle that is irrevocably lost. Error number 3, drinking water or eating something. In the context of a heart attack, consuming anything by mouth can pose a serious problem if emergency surgical intervention becomes necessary, as a full stomach complicates the anesthesia process and increases risks. Therefore, nothing by mouth, with the sole exception of aspirin, if it is indicated and safe for you to take. Error number 4, engaging in physical exertion. The thought might cross your mind, maybe if I walk around a bit, it will pass. Absolutely not. Physical exertion significantly increases the oxygen demand of your heart. This is the very last thing you need at this critical moment. Sit down, stay still, and focus on your breathing. Error number 5, not opening your door. The time lost by emergency teams struggling to gain access to your home can be the difference between life and death. Remember, open your door before they arrive. There is another crucial piece of information that most people are unaware of, but which we in the medical profession know intimately. Many heart attacks do not strike without warning. In approximately 50% to 60% of cases, the body sends subtle alarm signals in the hours, and sometimes even days, leading up to the main event. These are known as prodromal symptoms, and learning to recognize them can provide you with a precious window of opportunity to seek medical help before a full-blown emergency occurs. What are these vital warning signs? First, unexplained and disproportionate fatigue. This isn't the usual tiredness after a long day. We're talking about a profound, debilitating exhaustion that doesn't correspond to your recent activity level, appearing relatively abruptly in individuals who don't typically experience such fatigue, and it is particularly common in women. This is one of the most frequent, yet most frequently ignored, warning signs. Second, chest discomfort with exertion. If in recent days you've noticed that activities you once performed with ease, like climbing stairs, walking briskly, or carrying groceries, now induce a sensation of pressure or heaviness in your chest that wasn't present before, this is an urgent alarm signal that demands immediate medical attention. This condition is known as unstable angina, and it is a frequent prelude to a heart attack. Third, unexplained shortness of breath. If, while performing activities that were previously normal for you, you now find yourself becoming unusually breathless or winded, your heart may be signaling that something is not functioning correctly. Fourth, unusual insomnia accompanied by anxiety. Several studies indicate that the activation of the autonomic nervous system in the hours leading up to a heart attack can manifest as difficulty sleeping or a diffuse, unsettling sensation of restlessness and anxiety without an identifiable external cause. Fifth, frequent or irregular palpitations. A heart that is under stress or at risk sometimes generates arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats, skipped beats, or a sensation of your heart racing without an obvious reason that the person can perceive. If you experience any of these warning signs, especially if they occur in combination, do not wait for them to pass. Call your doctor, go to the emergency room, and specifically request an electrocardiogram, ECG or EKG. An EKG can reveal subtle changes that indicate your heart muscle is under stress and suffering, even before a full heart attack occurs. And in that crucial window of time, medical professionals can intervene to potentially prevent the heart attack from ever happening. The heart attack that is prevented, truly, is the best kind of heart attack of all. I want you to leave this video with 3 fundamental truths seared into your memory. First, if you experience the symptoms of a heart attack, immediately call 112 or your local emergency number. Then unlock your front door and sit down in the modified Fowler's position, with your knees bent and your back supported. Do not lie down flat, do not attempt to drive, and do not wait to see if it improves. Second, if you have no contraindications, thoroughly chew a 300 milliliter aspirin tablet. Remember, chew it, do not swallow it whole. Third, practice the cardiac load control breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds, exhale for 8 seconds. And as you breathe, reassure yourself internally that you have done the right thing, that help is on its way, and that you only need to remain calm. These 3 actions, just these 3, possess the profound potential to save your life. There is one overarching sentiment that I carry with me from every single patient who survives a heart attack. It's a phrase that repeats itself in various forms, but always conveys the same poignant message. I wish I'd known this sooner. Today, you do know, and that, in itself, is a tremendous victory. Please, share this with someone you care deeply about. With your partner, your sibling, a friend who lives alone, your mother, your father, because the invaluable information you have just received holds no real value if it remains confined here, solely with you. Its true power lies in reaching and empowering more people. If you haven't yet subscribed to this channel, please do so right now. Every week, I publish content meticulously designed for you, covering topics like prevention, medications, healthy habits, and how to effectively navigate the healthcare system when you are over 60 and committed to doing it well. And please, remember to leave a comment. Type 1 if this content has been useful to you, or 0 if you believe there's something I can improve. Your input helps me more than you can possibly imagine. This content is for educational purposes only. The information presented here does not substitute for consultation with your physician, nor does it constitute a diagnosis or a prescription. In case of any cardiac emergency symptoms, call emergency services immediately. Before taking aspirin or any other medication, always consult with your healthcare professional.